Subtlety is a concept that has been completely lost in modern television and film. Instead of allowing stories to unfold naturally and letting audiences find deeper meaning, everything is spoon-fed with the grace of a sledgehammer. Entertainment used to do what it was supposed to, entertain. But the best stories also worked on multiple levels. You could watch them as a fun adventure, but if you looked deeper, you could see the inspiration behind the story. Buffy the Vampire Slayer did this spectacularly well, using its horror elements as metaphors for real-life struggles. A teacher turning into a praying mantis, a clever way to explore the dangers of dating an older authority figure. The Pack, where students get possessed by hyenas, a perfect metaphor for peer pressure and getting involved with the wrong crowd. The monsters weren't just there to be scary, they meant something. Doctor Who was often great at this too, tackling political themes, societal issues and moral dilemmas while still being a sci-fi show for families. And that's what Nightmare of Eden should have been. Instead, we got Muppets in space. Welcome to the Snake Pit, where we're full of bile and venom. I'm your host, Snake Damon, and today we're looking at Nightmare of Eden, a Doctor Who story that aimed high but crash-landed somewhere between an intergalactic drug-smuggling thriller and an episode of The Muppet Show. The story itself is decent on paper. The TARDIS arrives on the luxury space liner Empress, which has become locked in a hyperspace collision with the trade ship Hecate. As the Doctor investigates, he finds that things are much worse than just a technical malfunction. Crew members are being attacked by monstrous creatures called mandrills, and a highly dangerous drug known as Vraxoin is circulating on board. The mystery deepens when the Doctor meets zoologist Trist and his assistant Della, who have been using their CET, or Continual Event Transmuter, machine to capture and store parts of entire planets as data projections. Their last recorded planet was Eden, and somehow the mandrills have made their way from that world onto the Empress. The Doctor soon uncovers the terrible truth. When the mandrills die, their bodies disintegrate into pure Vraxoin, meaning someone has been smuggling the creatures to process them into drugs. This revelation adds a whole new level of horror to the story. The mandrills aren't just mindless space monsters, they're living cargo, trafficked and killed for profit. And worse, the creatures are being transported through Trist's CET machine, turning what should be a tool of scientific discovery into a mechanism for illegal drug trade. With the help of Romana and K9, the Doctor eventually separates the two ships, rounds up the mandrills using ultrasonic frequencies, and traps them back in the CET machine. But the real victory comes when he outsmarts the drug smugglers. Trist and the corrupt Hecate Captain Diamond, by using their own technology against them, trapping them inside the CET projection ready for arrest. With the crisis over, the Doctor and company quietly slip away in the TARDIS, leaving behind a story that had all the ingredients for a classic, but failed spectacularly in execution. On paper, the mandrills should have been terrifying. They were meant to be vicious, carnivorous creatures linked to a galaxy-wide drug trade. Instead, we got something that looked like a rejected Jim Henson puppet. The costumes were abysmal, fluffy, awkward, and completely unintimidating. Even The Sun, a tabloid not exactly known for its in-depth Doctor Who critiques, ran a piece hyping up how terrifying the mandrills were, only for audiences to burst into laughter when they finally appeared on screen. The Doctor Who Appreciation Society was even harsher, calling them cute rejects from The Muppet Show. And honestly, they weren't wrong. Writer Bob Baker himself later admitted that the mandrill design was a huge disappointment. And the thing is, this could have been fixed with just a few tweaks. Make them nocturnal. The mandrills could have been horrifying if they had been lurking in darkness, only partially visible. Imagine dimly lit corridors where all you see are their glowing eyes and outlines as they stalk their prey. Instead of seeing them in full ridiculous detail, the audience would feel their presence, making them much scarier. Add a bioluminescent glow, giving the mandrels a faint, eerie glow, maybe in their eyes or veins, would have made them look less like oversized teddy bears and more like true alien predators. Think of an anglerfish, using its glowing lure to attract prey. The mandrels could have had a similar effect, making them an eerie, hypnotic menace rather than lumbering goofballs. Improve their movement. The mandrels waddled. That's never scary. If they had been given more insect-like or reptilian movements, stalking on all fours, darting between shadows, they would have been a genuine threat. Instead, we got clumsy, shambling mascots that wouldn't even frighten a toddler. Would these changes have made Nightmare of Eden a masterpiece? No, but they would have at least made the mandrels a credible threat, rather than a running joke. It's easy to dismiss Nightmare of Eden because of its laughable production, but buried beneath the mess is a story with a surprisingly serious message. The plot isn't just about drug smuggling, it's a metaphor for animal trafficking and poaching. The mandrels are essentially endangered animals being captured, transported, and harvested for profit. Their existence is exploited by humans who see them as nothing more than a resource. And the way they're hidden inside Trist's CET machine, that mirrors real-world animal smuggling, where creatures are stuffed into inhumane conditions for transport, often dying before they even reach their destinations. In reality, Nightmare of Eden is about commodifying living creatures, reducing them to nothing but parts to be sold. Whether it's elephant tusks, tiger pelts, or in this case, mandrel remains turned into drugs, the core idea is the same. Greed turning life into a product. It's just a shame that this powerful message got lost beneath goofy monster designs and campy performances. At its core, Nightmare of Eden had everything it needed to be a great Doctor Who story. A tense mystery, a unique sci-fi concept, a dark moral undercurrent. It should have worked. Instead, it became infamous for its poor execution, weak effects, and laughable monsters. But here's the thing. Despite all its flaws, it's still watchable. It's got Tom Baker in his prime, Lalla Ward's Romana being as brilliant as ever, and some genuinely fun moments. If you can look past the mandrels, or just pretend they exist in darkness where they might actually be scary, there's a solid story underneath. Could it have been better? Absolutely. With stronger direction, smarter visual choices, and just a little more subtlety, Nightmare of Eden could have been a hidden gem. Instead, it's remembered as one of Doctor Who's campiest misfires. Thanks for dropping by the Snake Pit, where we thrive on untapped potential and lost opportunities. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell, like the video, and leave your opinions in the comments, where, naturally, I won't read them. Until next time, stay venomous.